The project I like the most visually was designing with color. The project required a design for a holiday party created using two spot colors. I think that it was a clean project and it turned out nicely using Shape Builder and the sheer effect. I enjoyed formatting the text to create a unified look for a poster. The project felt familiar to what I was learning in an Illustrator course at the same time, so I did feel comfortable playing with shapes and some of the Pathfinder tools I had been introduced to. In the future, I would have played more with the object effects to better work with the spot colors since it is technically not part of the spot color design. I'd like to incorporate the shadows a little better with the spot color. Making the heart latte design was quick and easy. I used a heart-shaped glyph, create outlines, gave it a stroke and a transparent gap color, then used the shear to angle it to appear inside of the cup. If I were to do this assignment again, I'd also like to change some of the ways the headlines characters interact with the outlines and the shape builder to modify anchor points and have a few of the characters do something a bit more interesting. Overall, I'm pretty happy with my design, and this was a big confidence booster to realize I can do this. I enjoyed working with large formats of text and threading. It felt very streamlined and satisfying to drop text into a frame and quickly set it to a style to match a whole document. Threading was a quick and easy way to flow text from one frame to the next without worrying too much about something being left out. Choosing glyphs was fun to fit the theme of the text that I chose for the Edgar Allan Poe stories. I used create outlines for the glyphs that allowed me to make small edits to those glyphs when necessary for the needs of the design. The formatting of the project reminded me a bit of samples of text found for classes or smaller publications. Making hidden characters visible was helpful to make the paragraphs tight and consistent to quickly check for any errors in formatting or unnecessary hidden characters. Something I would have done differently this semester if I could would have been to set aside more time to brainstorm out ideas for some projects. I feel like I went into a lot of them without an idea or general guide of where to take it, so I found myself spending a lot of time arranging and experimenting until I settled on an idea, and then I would also second guess myself and rework a few more times. I feel that some of my design choices would have been stronger if I had given them more time to brew in my head before just jumping into InDesign and start plugging away with it. A lot of time went into playing instead of active designing and formatting. I found that one thing that was helpful over the course of the semester was deciding a few color schemes and establishing swatches, so I spent less time with indecisive guessing and picking colors. I think the most helpful topic that we covered in class was the use and execution of styles for character objects and paragraph. Parent pages were also very important and would substantially streamline workflow for creating large documents in InDesign. I think that these elements are great to create a unified project. I think the least helpful was the Pathfinder tools. I know their merit and purpose, but feel constrained because they don't quite have the versatility that Illustrator does. If I were to use something that needed a custom shape, I would likely create it in Illustrator first and then place it into InDesign to have full control over those shapes. My plans moving forward are to complete the remaining courses to chip away at an illustration degree. My end goal is to illustrate children's books or something of similar detailed and creative merit. I am also keeping the door open for graphic design if things don't go quite as planned. The illustration career path feels a little shaken to me by the influence of artificial intelligence in the art world right now, but it's where my heart has been for quite a few years. I learned a lot about layout and basic formatting for print from this course, which I think will be helpful whichever way I end up. The topics and industry standards I have learned in this course are important to visual art, especially when creating media intended for print output.